And May 1 is our cancellation cutoff, okay? So from that day on, after this date, all monies deposited are non-refundable and will be evenly dispersed, okay? So if fundraising for the kiddo, say the teenagers raised, they've raised $250 at this point, and then they back out. They say if we can't do it, that money's going to be broke up and divided among the teams that are going. And then the reason we want to get that cutoff in May is because directly following that is a $1,500 expense. We gotta have the $1,500 so we can buy tickets. So there's a cutoff day there for us because May 6th there's an informational meeting that is required, and that is the $1,500 for your ticket has to be done. We've already done $100 on the 25th of February. Okay, so you really are only shooting for $1,400 for the ticket. Okay, so you'll add $1,400 on top of your 100 you've given at the 25th, and you'll have $1,500. Is that clear? Did I make that all muddy? Okay. From that time forward, attendance at church. And all church services will be required unless you're ill. That's one of the prerequisites we'll go over here in a minute is church participation. We want to take people that have given every opportunity for God to speak to their heart. So that's one of the prerequisites we ask for as we're getting up to that date. May 13th, the 10th, the 17th of June. Those are all teen fundraising events going on at the church. There will be an informational meeting required on the 24th, and all remaining balance will need to be paid by the 24th. We want to go into June. We want to go in. I don't know why the 15th is an informational meeting out of the line there, but that is a required one as well. And then June 29th is a teen fundraising event. Ultimately, the reason we're calling for it on the 24th is so that we can have all the money by the time we're going into July, because it's just days and we'll be on the plane. July 19th is our departure. August 1st is our return, and August 5th will be a post-trip meeting, which is a required meeting, and then there is an August 12th testimony service, which is also required. Okay, and so we want you to be a part of those. We know this will be a blessing to you. The reason we put those on here so you can go ahead and dive into your calendar, get those dates nailed down, and you'll be equipped and ready to go. Okay. All monies collected during the scheduled, all money will be collected during the information meetings. Okay, so don't bring a check from church. Don't hand it to Brother Smith. Don't hand it to me. Don't drop it in the offering plate. Don't give it to the trustees. All the money happens at these meetings. Okay, so if you're coming, you're going to be a part of that trip. That money happens here, okay? That way, we'll have if you bring cash to pay for that, we have a receipt book. We're going to give you a receipt right out of that. It'll be given to you. That cash will be put with the other cash or checks set up so that we can move forward. We're not going to try to, track this large amount of money back and forth through 100 different venues. The meetings, we're going to be here anyway. We're going to handle the money at the nights of those meetings, okay? At Team Handbook, I want you to know our purpose. Our purpose is to observe the work of our missionaries, to see what God is doing in the missions work. What that does, we are hoping God will use this as an opportunity to get to our hearts, to give us a vision for missions, to also get the opportunity to share the gospel, to support field missionaries, encourage national believers, and deepen our relationship with Christ. I think another byproduct of this will be the relationships you build with each other. And we'll build closer knit relationships by being together. We took a few in-country mission, in fact, in-state missions trips with our teens in Sioux Falls, and they always came away from that knowing each other better than when they ever got started. There's just a closeness that happens as a result. Prerequisites are on-time payments. Okay, it's a pretty tight system as it is. We just need you to be ready with the payments as they come. Complete any training materials, reading assignments. The teens will need to be at camp. Okay, we told you at the camp meeting that all the teens need to be at camp. If they're going to go with us halfway around the world, they need to go 2 states. Okay, so they're going to go to the camp. Why? Preacher, why are we doing that? Because my hope is to take just anybody and everybody, and they show up, and we go through a missions trip, and then leave unchanged. The reason we're doing a missions trip is so that God will radically change the way we look at how He works, and that we'll be pushed to see what he does better and see it in a greater light. And so what camp gives us an opportunity to do is for them to be able to connect, for them to be able to hear from the Lord. When they hear from the Lord, then they come with a sensitive spirit. They get on that plane going to missions trip. They're sensitive, they're ready to hear from the Lord, and God is using that even more. So that's why we're doing the campus prerequisites. I'd like for them to be there to hear the preaching. And then we're going to, another prerequisite is attendance at all required meetings, attendance at all the SKBC services from May 6th to our departure, and the commitment to participate in the August 12th testimony service, okay? In-person relationships, we'll highlight these. The relationships that are important, team members, we will commit to be of one accord, of like mind through Christ, looking for each other's best interests. We will seek to love each other with patience, kindness, humility, and forgiveness. Boyfriend, girlfriend, opposite sex relationships, unless you're married, you got a ring. As far as boyfriend, girlfriend stuff, those are inappropriate for the trip we're going on, and we'll refrain from flirtatious involvement, involvement in all of the opposite sex, touching, holding hands, kissing, comments, innuendos, all those things that be outlined. Good. Is there anything I'm missing thus far? Anything I need to cover? Anything? No? Okay. Then the nationals. We want to respect their culture, beliefs, politics, and so that's going to be important to us. The way we behave with them, we want to be humble and exhibit the fruits of the Spirit. There may be times where we might get frustrated, but really want to show lots of love and joy and peace and show them the love of Jesus as we're on our trip. We'll be thankful for all we receive from our nationals and commit to be courteous guests wherever we go. Conflict resolution is just a reality. We consider our own heart and mind and repent of any unconfessed sin. We go to the person we have conflict with, share the problem in a loving spirit, and then bring about a resolution. Okay? There is a dress code. I want you to mind that. Be mindful of that. Give your mind to that. Not mind it, like do it. It's just something to keep in mind. We want to have a modest testimony, so all of these just pushing us towards modesty is the key, okay? Sunday service attire, ladies in dresses and skirts below the knee when sitting, no sleeveless or low-cut tops. Men will be in dress shirts, ties, and dress slacks. And any of the other days that we're out serving or we're door knocking or we're out watching and viewing the ministries that the brewers have going on around the city, those will be days it's okay to be a little more casual in some blue jeans. Buy blue jeans, leave your work jeans at home, the ones with holes and stuff. And if you're all right, guys, bring a pair of blue jeans. Ladies, you'll be in culottes or skirts, including you can wear denim and khaki skirts on those days. Again, if you would be mindful of sleeveless or low-cut tops. Nothing that reveals your midriff or clothing that contains vulgarity. All those things you ladies like to wear. No, I'm just kidding. We just want to be mindful of those things that we're going to get myself in trouble now. I'm just messing around. I would be mindful of no excessive jewelry or hair color. These are things that in other cultures they may understand or may not understand, and it could be a total put-off. If you've got all these jewelries, or it makes you a target. And so, if you wear some simple jewelry, there's nothing wrong with that. You feel free to bring that. But at the same time, be mindful that Brazil is a theft culture. You're less likely to get stabbed, more likely to get stolen from. So they are a theft culture. So just keep that in mind. And so keep the valuable stuff at home. And the men, no shorts or baggy pants. Jeans should be nice and contain no holes. No sleeveless shirts with vulgarity, no earrings or excessive jewelry, necklaces, bracelets, things like that. Obviously, a ring with a watch. No long hair. We ask you to get your hair cut nice and tight, cut where we need there. We were going to be there for about 12 days or so, and we want to be mindful of how our hair will grow and be a blessing to them. Respect for authority. As a team, we submit to the authority of our leaders and the field missionaries of legal authority. Wrong decisions we make on our own could ultimately destroy or cause difficulty in the lives but the very people who are there to help, okay? If you need to know how it works, don't steal glasses while you're in China, or they arrest you and they keep you. The president might come to help you, but then you have to say thank you over Twitter. So, what I want you to do is be very, very careful while we're overseas, and we'll all be good, okay? I guess that was the other one that you guys destroyed the bathroom. At any rate, we want to be very mindful of how our behavior on the field is going to affect our testimony. The testimony that's going to stay behind is a missionary, okay? And so when it comes to that, I didn't outline it here. We're going to talk more about it. I don't know how many, are planning on bringing kids, your children. Understand it is going to be a team. Your pastor is going to be leading that team. And so I don't ever want to get in the way of a parent and child, but at the same time, there is a level of submission that child is getting to me when they come and join our program. So when they do that, they'll also receive direction from me. And so things, I want every parent to come. I want every child to get to go. But at the end of the day, pastor's going to tell you what the plan is, and we're going to follow that plan. And it won't be a separate event for the child just because mom and dad is present. Does that make sense? So I just keep that in mind, as well as the missionary. Really, we're going to his place, and you're going to find your pastor submitting a lot to the missionary, and really we're going to find him in charge a lot. And we're just going to do what he thinks is best. We're going to do what he wants to do when he wants to do it. And he is giving us a schedule ahead of time, so we'll kind of know what to expect. But really, he's going to be calling the shots because we're there to serve him. Okay, so keep that in mind. Security and protection, have a travel buddy. Don't leave the group without letting a team leader know. Don't leave valuables, your passports in your rooms. Do a passport inventory of all the team members, and give your, especially our teens, you can give your passport to us and keep it with our person. When we travel overseas, they always say, keep it with you. Keep the passport. If you got to go to the embassy for an emergency, you have your passport papers with you. But I would like that to be with one of the adult members, okay? And we'll take care of that. Keep a copy of your passport on you at all times. Fold that thing up, slide it in your wallet, and keep that on you. Because if you get separated from your passport, you have at least a copy of what your numbers should be. Keep a credit card cancellation number in your wallet as well. If you have to cancel your Visa, the last thing you want to do is try to rely on their Wi-Fi to figure out what the number is. Just punch it in your phone, punch it in a notebook. That way you know what to call if you need to cancel your credit card. Okay? Give a contact person and phone number to your family members. In other words, you can give them. We'll give you and provide you the number of our missionary overseas, and you'll be able to give that to your family if they need to get in touch with you. Okay? Be flexible. Our time flexibility, we want to show lots of respect for each other. Avoid causing anyone involved anxiety. We are to be punctual at events, ready and willing to do whatever it takes to accomplish the task. The team will be flexible about unexpected changes in our schedule or events, and each member of the team will participate in all the activities. Okay, staying behind is not an option unless you are sick. If you're on your deathbed, then we have some understanding. But it's not, we're not going to get there on Thursday and someone say, you know what, I was going to go do some sightseeing, you guys have fun. That's not how this trip's going to go. Do that on vacation, that's great. But when you're coming on a missions trip, you got a schedule, and that's what we're going to hold to, okay? And so just keep that in mind. I will adhere to and respect the above covenant set by my team leader and fellow team members. Disobedience and poor behavior, especially for our teenagers, only for our teenagers here. If I choose to disobey any of the above guidelines, please know that I, along with my adult leadership team, will determine any type of action that needs to be taken. This includes a situation where they would be sent back to Topeka to meet with their parent. Okay, so we've never had to do that. We've been at camp with some pretty crazy situations, and usually cooler heads prevail. And we've seen this even with junior campers. Just some logic creeps into the system. We're all good. But if it came to a behavioral issue and we had to send the child home, I would rather send them home, cut them short on the trip, than to ruin our testimony or the testimony of our missionary. Okay, so that's just an option. I want you to keep that in front of you. I don't think we'll ever have to use it, but it is in writing. So parents, we're asking that as you sign below, you are confirming that that agreement would work for you in that case. Okay, your affidavit application. When you sign this application, you are assenting. You agree with this handbook. You're willing to follow it, as well as truthfulness of all the information in this handbook. Also, I want you to see the application here. there's a mission project participation agreement, and this is the part about your heart. We want to get your heart involved in it. There's going to be some simple things in here, but then we get into where we have the participation agreement tells us we can get, that, you know, if you're going to go, that you are participating or your team is participating. Where's the part I was just talking about? Oh, and there it is, an involvement and testimony. So we want to hear your testimony, what it is you're hoping to get from this. This will be a great way for you to even begin now to plan how God can use this in your life, be a help to your life. And the testimony is so important because the testimony is your tool that God has given to you. And everyone needs to fill out a ministry disclosure form, okay? And so this is for our adults especially. We want our adults to fill out, this is a background check form, okay? And we want our adults to come. I want adults to be here. I want you to come. You know, some churches have team-only trips. We're doing this intentionally for the whole church to come. We want everybody to come. And so if you say, well, I don't want to go on a team function, it's not going to be a team function. There are going to be some teams there because we want to expand their vision now. But really, our goal is to have anybody and everybody from the church that wants to come. And so, fill out the background request form, and our teams will need one filled out for them as well, and they have that information. Okay, this is a good thing for the whole church, and I want you to come. So you'll see some permission slips and things. That's just mindful of those teams. We'd like for them to come and your kiddos. Okay, good. I think that does it. I think it gets us through all the forms. Brother Schmidt, what would you add to anything that I've said? We've talked this through 1,000 times. I want to make sure I didn't forget anything.
Yeah, just letting them know that, you know, if they're worried about fundraising, that we're going to be providing tools, you know, next meeting. And then, you know, as they look over the handbook, we're going to provide the agreement form that we mentioned in there. So that's all I could think of, yeah.
Good point. Okay, so there may be a few question marks. That's why we're doing the informational meetings. Okay, so if you think of any questions, feel free to shoot me an email. Probably what I'll do is I'll bring that to the meeting. Okay, so I may respond to your email, but then don't be surprised if I bring up your question because somebody else is going to have that question. Okay, and we'll try to get that information to you just as easily as we can.